Hello, this is Chris Brett from Eurogamer, joined by Sean Murray of Hello Games, and we're right at the end of the first proper hands-on before the review copies go out. And you might actually hear people tearing down the set right now, so sorry about that. I know I've only got a few minutes with you before we head off, so I'm not going to ask you what No Man's Sky is, because it's quite a long and detailed answer.
Okay.
In fact, are you kind of getting to the stage where you're a bit frustrated answering that question now? Because it seems to be often the defining conversation.
Oh no, look, I could never complain about that. Like you know what it's like. You talk to people who make games all the time.
Sure.
You've always got to ask them, hey, tell me what's Bioshock and what's
No
Man's Sky and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, but with No Man's Sky, there seems to be a bunch of different ways to play and a bunch of different ways that people approach it. What's it been like today, watching a whole host of people come into your world and interact with it differently?
Oh, it's totally horrible, basically, to watch people play your game.
Yep.
I mean,
Are they playing it right?
No,
okay.
No one plays it right, right? It's super fascinating. We've been watching people, and how they interact with the controls and stuff like that. And we do tests and we bring people in and we test stuff out with people. But actually the press are really interesting because they're kind of, and I mean, this is no disrespect. I've been really surprised
how bad we are at games.
Really bad at games.
Sorry about that.
Right?
It's really bad.
And it makes sense, because if you got really good at games, then you wouldn't give good reviews anymore. You wouldn't be representative anymore.
That's clearly it.
But it's really nice, actually, because you get to see, they struggle with this, or they're not very good with that, or whatever. And I've already decided that we're changing some of the controls after watching people play today.
Okay.
So it's fascinating. You are our little monkeys out there, basically.
I'm happy to be that.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of from a control point of view, but in terms of how they're actually approaching the game, in terms of the mindset, you can, at the beginning of today, you kind of broke down what the different things you can do within the game. Some people are going to take more of a fighting role. Some people are just going to explore. What is it like to see how different people choose those roles and what they decide to focus on?
So it's really nice. As you walk around, you actually just see loads of different things going on different people's screens, and that's kind of terrifying, but it's kind of nice. The reality is, what we were doing here was a hands-on with people, where they get to play just briefly.
Yep.
And that's kind of crap, actually, because that's not how people will play No Man's Sky.
Absolutely.
And it's just not that type of game, It's kind of a sandbox game, and it suits, I think, sitting at home and playing it for 3 hours or 5 hours or whatever, And actually, we put in little bits of tutorial and stuff like that. Not nearly enough, but actually, for you terrible people in the press, right?
Yeah.
But not nearly enough, but not as much as what we'll have in the final game. Actually, strip a lot of that back, and part of the fun of this type of game is learning how everything works and interacts.
Sure, it kind of got me thinking about something when I did see people playing the game differently. Part of No Man's Sky is the appeal of the what's at the center of the universe. That's a goal that you're given. It's not necessarily you have to pursue, but some people will. The first person that discovers that is going to play the game drastically different to everyone else. Does that annoy you, maybe? The fact that they are going to just rush to the middle. They're not going to explore, which is kind of what we want to do, I think.
And so this is a weird thing. So we say goals to get to the center of the universe. And I think that's kind of a cool concept, a cool idea, and there's reasons why you want to do that, right? And it's probably for most people a nice point where they can put down the controller, right, and feel satisfied that they've played it and completed it. But actually, I'm hoping that that's not what most people do. Hopefully, people are engrossed by the game and they're doing lots of different things. And there's a much more kind of sandboxy element there where somebody goes off and decides to be a trader and they forget about everything else. They're just trying to earn money,
Yeah.
And you see that with lots of games. And you see it particularly with sandbox games where you're trying to ask somebody why they're doing what they're doing in The Long Dark or Stranded Deep.
Yeah, and there are 1,000 different answers, right?
Yeah, I'm just building a pile of logs.
Sure.
Why? I don't really know.
When Martin and I played it, we avoided shooting anything and just kind of potted around the place a bit. Yeah. And that seemed like a valid way of approaching it.
The very first people from the press who played the game, we had put so much work into things like auto-aim and reaction speeds and weapons and handling and stuff like that, just recently. And we gave this person, the very first person who played the controller, and they just didn't shoot anything.
Yep.
And we played for half an hour, and they just kind of wandered around, and I wanted to scream at them like, "Oh my God, we put so much work in, just try it out," you know? And they're like, "No, I don't really feel like it." And afterwards,
that's sort of great.
Yeah, afterwards I was like, "That's cool. Like that's what we want."
All right, as they're literally taking down your set over there, I can ask you one final question.
Yeah.
We mentioned the centre of the universe. It has kind of got this curiosity vibe to it.
Yeah.
That there's going to be some kind of interesting secret there. Is it Peter Molyneux? Is Peter Molyneux in the middle of your universe?
What? Like, yeah, obviously.
Okay,
yeah.
Excellent. Well, I mean, I expect and demand that.
What you're going to find is that actually the camera will zoom out and you'll find that our entire universe is inside the cube.
Wow,
Yeah.
man, that's deep.
And then it's just, Peter has got the, you know, like David Bowie in Labyrinth,
Right.
where he's got the crystal balls just rotating them. That's Peter with our universe.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you break it down like that. Okay, Sean, thank you very much, and I'm sorry that we've literally taken you as they're pulling down your set.
Yeah, some of it's about to fall on us anyway.
I appreciate that. Cool. Thank you very much. Well, you say that, but No Man's Sky is a game that is so... I mean, this is part of the difficulty in talking about it. It is massive, and it is quite a few different things, and we're going to have to try and figure out how to actually define who it's for. That's going to be the point in this video. But I think to start with, maybe, shall we actually explain what we did in that kind of hour?
Yeah, because like